Amazon and Blumhouse have teamed up to bring a bunch of horrors and thrillers to Amazon Prime. The Lie is the newest movie, and it's just what it sounds like, except I think a more apt title would be, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, the Psycho Edition. A father and daughter are traveling to a dance camp when they see the daughter's best friend on the side of the road. When they stop to offer the friend a ride, their good intentions turn into terrible consequences. Peter Sarsgaard, Mireille Enos, and Joey King star in the psychological drama. Okay, so I was pretty sick to my stomach the entire time this movie is playing. And it's not because I ate an entire pound of candy corn. The scenes are quiet but intense, and the tension becomes palpable. I mean, you just feel this anxiety emanating from all of the characters, and it transfers through the screen to us. There's this claustrophobic, almost suffocating air to the story, and then every decision that the characters make just seem to make things worse. One decision leads to choices, which they always do, but when you repeatedly choose the poorer of the options, bad things are bound to happen. Now, while Joey King is great in this, I really think she takes a back seat to Sarsgaard and Enos. Their dynamic is so good. They play a divorced couple who are at times contentious, but they're not overly so that they can't both come and each stand by their daughter's side. They are still able to be cordial, and they're still able to interact, even though you see barbs flying at different points when they interact. This isn't an overly complex story, but I really like how it unfolds and just how it steadily builds. I wouldn't even call it a slow burn. I mean, the torch is lit almost immediately, and then it just begins to rage on. This was originally a German film called Wir Monster, but it was adapted for the screen by Vina Sood. Now, she was also a writer and producer for the AMC series The Killing, which also starred Enos. This movie carries some of the same feelings that The Killing had: family devotion amidst terrible choices. The family drama is quite high, and not just because of the dynamics between Sarsgaard and Enos that like I mentioned. I mean, you also have the dynamics and just the tension that come between the parents and Joey King and her character, and oh my goodness, how they just interact, how they build off of each other, and how it creates this air of anxiety throughout everything. Now, there is a mention and an innuendo about Sarsgaard's character that's not totally developed or even really explained. And I wish the story would have addressed it a little bit better because of who made the accusations, or at least the mentions. And so it was just kind of out there, left hanging, and is it just kind of a diversion? Is it a misdirection? What's going on? But it seems like you threw this out and then kind of forgot about it. There are a few small scenes that feel a bit contrived. It's almost as if they were created as a scene for a tiny piece of the puzzle to be discovered. And more so, while that's not necessarily a bothersome issue in and of itself, and especially because the scenes are short so they're not adding a ton of time to anything, but you also are then introduced to characters who we just barely see. We don't really have any context for, and so their interactions don't make a whole lot of sense. My guess is that as you watch this, if you're not sick to your stomach, or maybe if you are, you're going to be arguing with the characters on the screen. I mean, I was shaking my head more than once, knowing that the decisions these characters were about to make would just lead to terrible consequences down the road. But did they listen to me? No. No matter how much I talked to the screen, the characters, they didn't pay attention. It's just like my dad yelling at Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy. The contestants never heard the right answers. In addition to the main characters, we also have 3 supporting stars who are pretty good. There's Cass Anvar, who plays Joey King's best friend's father. He brings a great level of emotion, and he feels genuine as a father who is just asking questions. And I really liked him. Not so much as the character. I wasn't really a fan of the character, but his acting certainly delivered. Patty Kim is a detective friend of Enos's character, and she's great because she also has just this low-key suspicion, but also she's willing to listen. And I liked that, and she came across not terribly jaded like you would expect sometimes some seasoned detectives to be. Finally, we have Nicholas Lee, who is another detective working alongside Patty Kim, and he rubs everybody the wrong way, and he's just gruff, and that's his demeanor. But more so, I liked him because he was Krychek in the X-Files, and I haven't seen him for a really long time, so it was just cool to see him on screen. But he does a good job for the limited amount of time that he's in the movie. This is available now to stream on Amazon Prime, at least in the US. It's a tense and uncomfortable ride, and it actually surprised me at how much and how quickly it grabbed hold of me and then just slowly started to tighten its grip around me. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and some violence. I give The Lie 4 out of 5 couches. What's a good psychological drama that you've seen recently? One that you can recommend to me in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.